I'm your host, Mchezo Bwana, here with my co-host TJ. What's going on, TJ?
Hey, I'm TJ. What's going on, everybody?
You sent me a clip of Tim Weiss. I think he does tell some truth, and I think he is somebody with the perspective that is worth listening to. He doesn't ever
Well,
talk about solutions to racism, though, is what I noticed. But what did you want to talk about?
what's clip is like we're talking about like how racism started, how whitenism started, right? So, and he does know that, and he's actually he majored in it. If I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, but he majored in African American studies, and he's one of those guys. He's a white dude that I think you could call Tim Weiss woke.
Now, in the clip, and about how racism started.
Well, it's not how racism started. It's how whiteism started. Maybe not
Okay,
race, but basically what they had is they had indentured servants. And they still had slaves,
white
right?
and black, right? Or European and
White
African
and black,
at that
white and
time.
black, white and black. Right, right. European and black at that time. And those guys were getting together. Like they were like, "Hey, man, we don't like this motherfucker." Right. So
Basically,
basically,
the rich white person is who they didn't like.
right, right. So the rich white person, they were like, "Hey, we don't really like what you're doing." So the rich white person basically took the indentured white person aside, and they were like, "Hey, you can be like me. You can be like me. I'm going to give you this money. This, that, and the other." And then that basically became the blue plan for America. Like, hey, I'm white. I'm rich. You're black. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you make the same amount of money. You're still black, motherfucker. You know?
Yeah. When you really break it down, isn't it pretty simple-minded that somebody can be brainwashed thinking somebody is better than somebody simply based off the color of their skin when
Well,
we know?
shit.
Go ahead.
Well, shit. Back then, like we're talking about the 1600s. So, so in the 1600s is when they were doing that. So yeah, they didn't have any education. Those motherfuckers couldn't read. All they could do was listen to people that read. People that read came down there. I'm sure they're very convincing.
Yeah, that's
I'm
why you
sure
need to
they're very convincing.
that's why you need to question everything.
So that's why education is a very important thing.
It is.
That's why
Education is
education
an
is a very
important thing.
important thing.
And I don't mean school education. I mean self-education, because the schools really have done us no justice, white, black, or whatever. It basically funnels you in to be a worker in the matrix. Basically, it doesn't tell you how to
No,
live
never,
out your
never,
dream.
never, never. You're exactly right. Never stop educating yourself. Whoever you are, I don't care who you are. If you're listening to this, I don't care if it's 379. I don't give a shit. Never stop educating yourself.
Right. He also mentioned how they basically tricked the white people or the Europeans because as long as they had the free labor, elite white people would never really pay them for the same job.
Exactly.
Basically, racism is one of those things that plays to people's ego. Some
Oh,
people.
this solidified racism. Solidified it.
What did?
Um, so they had slaves at the time, right? And they also had indentured servants. They had white and black, and the white and black indentured servants worked, shoulder to shoulder. So when when basically like the whole thing, black and whites went up to the plantation owner or whatever, and they're like, "Hey, man, this ain't cool. It's not cool." So the plantation owners came up with the thing. They're like, "Yeah, you look like me. I'll give you $1, but fuck those other ones that don't look like us. You can be like us, but they can't."
Yeah, it's a
Right?
pyramid scheme.
Basically,
In slavery, they had the field Negro and the house Negro. So then this is
yep,
another,
yep,
they're
yep,
just
yep,
another
yep.
level up above the house Negro. as far as privileges go. And you know what I noticed is some people don't want to give up those privileges. You know what? This one lady, she had an interview, and she was doing an interview with DJ Vlad on
Okay.
Vlad TV, and she made a statement. She said
Yeah.
some people would rather fail than succeed with you, and I've seen people like that. And I think that's what's going on. One of the things that is going on with racism, why some people don't want to, well, some white people don't want to face the fact because they don't want to give up those privileges under the system. And I don't think they want to give them up. And I think it's to the point where they're like, hey, we'll just ride this till the
Okay.
wheels fall off. We don't want to succeed with you.
Okay.
We'll let the whole thing burn down. And the other thing is nobody really likes to admit that they've been tricked and that they've because it hurts the ego also. And
Who would like that?
well,
Who would
nobody.
like that? I don't care if it's fucking casino or it's like the big topics we're talking about. No one likes to get duped, man. Nobody. Yeah,
Right.
you're right.
But we've been duped,
Yeah, you're
white,
right. Go
black,
ahead.
or whoever. And
Yeah.
it's hard for people to accept that because it's such a big lie. It's such a big lie. It's crazy to fathom that they've lied and just ruined so many lives. And
What's this thing?
racism,
Racism?
yeah, racism, man.
Yeah, man. It hurts my heart, man. Honestly, because I don't want to be one of those like it's not white tears, it's not all this, but these people are my friends. These people have been like honestly my friends. Pulled me out of things. Pulled them out of things, and it has nothing to do with them white or black, but these are my friends, and it really hurts. It really hurts. Like when you start talking about white or black. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's
Like
tough.
to me, it hurts. To me, it hurts. To me, it
It's
hurts.
tough, man. It's tough. I think
It
people
does.
need to understand that it's tough for white people and black people. And it might even be tougher for white people because they have the most to lose. And they've been tricked the most. It maybe tricked the most. I don't know, but I know they definitely have the most to lose. We underestimate how difficult it is for people to have conversations, and then when you put on top of it, the schools don't teach you how to properly communicate, and we have a lot of people that don't know how to properly communicate in this world and in this country. And it's basically a bunch of people pointing a finger, trying to convince the other person that they're wrong and that their way is right. And if you don't agree with that, then you're a horrible person. And then we have another group of
Sure.
people that just
Yeah.
spread lies and confusion. So it's just such a horrible situation at this point. It's going to take brave people on all sides to really be willing to have those uncomfortable conversations. Because one thing about the truth can be scary at times for some people, especially when your belief is going to be shattered. It's just going to it's very difficult. And, it was such a big lie that it's basically traumatizing to some people,
Well,
like,
here's the best cure for racism is go and get a black friend. If you're white, go and get a black friend. All right. Now, I'm not talking about like a guy you say hi to every once in a while. Like, honestly, like build a relationship, right? Right?
yeah, I'm listening.
We're still friends. We're still friends, right?
Yeah.
So we're still cool, you know. But at the same time, it's like go spend time with whoever you think you hate.
That's something that takes
You're gonna
discipline.
realize.
The one dude told me,
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
he said it
But
takes courage to do the right thing. So when he said that, and I looked around and I realized how many people were silent about issues that they know they didn't agree with and how they let bad things happen, then I came to the conclusion that in most cases, the majority of people are actually cowards. So that's why we have the
right.
situation we have. And a coward
Well, and
is
that's
going
why
to take the easy way out as much as possible.
why we do this podcast is like honestly, I may have my opinion, and it's just my opinion. Like I'm not very solid on many things. Please tell me, just fucking tell me. But I have a lot of black friends, and it's not like I count them on fingers or whatever.
Sure, you don't.
But Man, yeah, but it's not like I, kind of, it's not like I go to a fucking country club meeting and I'm like, yeah, I have one, two, three, four, five. I have six black friends. These are playing cards. These are my friends. But my whole purpose is, to smack into the white person in the mouth when they're talking, not talking right. And I actually, because of my black friends, I have a little bit of education on the issue. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. We're
Yeah.
both here to learn. Another thing about this podcast is we had a conversations most people are afraid to have. The other thing is, a lot of people really aren't having conversations to understand.
They're
They
not.
really
And
just,
that's a shame.
yeah, when we can get around that, or people can actually say, I want to actually learn from the next person or understand, gain some kind of understanding, because basically people are closed-minded. They're really just trying to get their point across. So it's no real comprehension of what the
Yeah.
other person is saying.
I hate to tell you, man, like, a person I know loves to quote the Chris Rock thing. There's black people and there's N words. And I'm like, come on, man. I'm like, come on, man. Well, Chris Rock said it, and white people love to quote
um White people that are racist are gonna like hearing bad things about black people. I mean, that's the whole point.
it. Doesn't matter if they're racist or not. Like, even people. So here's what I figure out. So one thing, I always say on these podcasts, like, all white people are racist. No, they're not. A lot of white people, I figured out the
The what?
differentiation.
Okay.
Okay. So you're either white privilege, which everybody is, if you're white in America, right? Or you're racist, which you actually participate,
Mm-hmm.
right?
You actively participate, actively and consciously
You
participate.
actively participate.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and we got to convince white people that they have white privilege, and that's still a hard thing to do, man.
Well, like
Hard
I
thing to
said, who,
do.
who wants to give up their privilege? If I told you I have a job for you, man, I'm gonna let you get the company car. I'm gonna pay for dry cleaning, you know,
Right.
and then I
Well,
take it away from you. Are you gonna be happy with that?
no, absolutely not. So, so I think of it as a tower. I live, I'm white, middle class, straight.
Right.
So,
That was
I
that
live
was
in a
that was
penthouse.
hesitation right there. But go ahead.
No, no, I live in a penthouse, right? I live in a penthouse, right? Why do I give a fuck who lives below me? Why do I care? Well, when they start burning the place down,
Right.
the place down,
Right.
all of a sudden, I'm paying attention. So even Martin Luther King said it, like, basically what it is riots are the language of the people that are unheard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was right, I guess.
he was right. And you know what? I was going home from doing my job. There was a white lady who had that on the back of her car. And I was like, you know what? I think we're starting to get it. I think it was on the back of her fucking Range Rover.
Some people seem like they just on a bandwagon, white, black, and whoever. It's just like it's the thing to do, and you just see a lot of finger pointing.
I think a lot of white people are on the bandwagon, man. They're not going to talk about it unless there's something in the news.
So you said it's just fake.
They're not going to talk about it unless it's in the news.
Yeah, I mean, because who wants to really deal with it? At the end of the day, nobody really wants to deal with it because it's a difficult situation.
Well, here's the whole other thing. I haven't protested. Have you?
No.
No. So that's the whole thing. Is like you can talk or you can walk. Right?
But to me, protesting doesn't really do much. The rioting did more than the protesting ever did. And then when people started rioting and looting, and you seen it was white people and black people and other people, people like what is going on? And then you see the media talk about Kaepernick tried to tell y'all, and then it kind of is like I told you so kind of moment to where people like, well, he did peacefully protest about police brutality, but we tried to make it about the flag because we wanted to deflect because we just didn't have enough courage to face it at the time.
And that's what people that look like me do, man. That's what we do. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take responsibility. That's what people like me do. People who look like me and who are in the same position as me. That's what we do, man.
What is what you do?
That's
Deflect?
what middle class, male, white American. That's what we do. Yeah, it's like, I mean, honestly, like, if you were in the penthouse, honestly, you wouldn't give a fuck about anybody underneath. You don't give a shit until they started to burn your house down, and then you start listening.
Now, what
Then
about
you're like, oh, okay,
what about empathy though? Do you think white people like empathy?
oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, empathy is so sympathy is feeling sorry for someone.
I'm talking about empathy.
Empathy is the other thing. Empathy is actually feeling what the other person feels. There's not a white person on earth in America that can feel what a black person feels. I came as close as it.
Okay, all right. Well, look, how did you? Well, I need to hear. Well, how did you come as close to a white person possibly could to empathize with a black person?
So when I was with my ex, when all this stuff was going on, it was Eric Garner and all that stuff, and she's just sitting there crying.
Why was she crying?
She was crying because she goes, "TJ, this is bullshit. You don't understand." No, I don't understand. Like, I don't fully understand. Like, I don't fully understand. I love you. I feel bad for that guy and stuff like that. But I'm not black. That's why I was talking about, like, you can't be fully woke if you're a white man or anybody. At least in this day and age. At least right now. Like, we'll never see it.
In my
I felt really bad. Like, me, like, I put my work in, man. I read books, I do what I can, but I can't, in that singular moment, that one night, what was that big kid's name? The guy who was selling Lucy's. What was his name? Shit.
Eric Gardner?
Yeah, was that Eric Gardner? He was selling Lucy's.
I don't know. I
He
think
was a
so.
bigger dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, and his son was sitting there crying. His son was a bigger kid.
I don't know. I didn't see. I never really saw the video.
So basically, what happened is, like, I'm sitting here watching TV, and I hear her crying. I go in there, and she's just bawling. I'm like, "Baby, what's going on?" She's like, no. She's watching this video on her iPad of, his son just bawling. Bawling.
Well, she's confused.
Shit. No, she wasn't confused. There wasn't shit I could do to comfort her, because I'm not black, and eventually one day, hopefully, in our lifetime, that'll get back together. But there wasn't shit I can do. And that was the love of my life, man.
All right, well,
I couldn't do shit.
It's the reason I say she's confused is because if you live in a racist society, then you shouldn't be confused when racist things happen. Now, in my book,
Good book.
It's a great book, actually. But one of the quotes, 111, it says, "We all have different perspectives, and with a little empathy, we may better understand each other." So, we just have to be willing to empathize.
Well, you know the difference between empathy and sympathy, right?
Yeah, you just said it. Yeah, you said it a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
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 Another
So
one, 130.
empathy,
Hold on for a second. Another one, 138, says empathizing with someone else can be tough when you've never known the feeling. And that's the thing. How can you empathize? I can't empathize with you being a white person. I don't
Exactly.
even know what it feels like to be a
Right.
white person, and you don't know what it feels like.
Right.
We can empathize with each other as men because we deal with females and
Right.
we have different issues and things of that nature.
Yes,
But
sir.
you
Yes,
know,
sir.
we can't empathize with women. We don't know what it feels like for them to give birth, so we can't say it's not all that
Right.
bad, or we can't really judge that. So
Most painful thing a human can go through without dying.
and you have to have common experiences to really empathize with somebody. And there's been times people have gone through experiences and I didn't empathize with them. But then when I went through the experience, I'm like, oh, I know what you mean now. So it's hard for somebody else to go through race to empathize with somebody, even if they want to, because they don't have to go through that and they've never done it. Because it's always
Right.
like
Right.
when I've been in
Right.
situations, I'm like, when somebody tell me about like a situation, I'm like, well, do this, and it should be easy. But the guy from Valuetainment, he was talking about it's easy for us to make opinions, to give opinions on things we're not emotionally invested in. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
black people are more emotionally invested in police brutality because we perceive it happens to us more, which it seems that it does happen to us more. We're only like 13% of the population, and we have all these abuse claims. Another thing that the police do is they don't ever punish. You can complain about these guys, and they never punish these guys. Because they want to continue that to keep doing what they're doing as far as police brutality. But yeah, with the just getting back to the whole empathizing thing, even if somebody wants to, we can't. Like I said, I've tried, and unless you're emotionally involved in it and you've actually experienced it, it's going to be difficult. So the only thing you can kind of do is kind of just try to have compassion and understand that there's things we don't know. And we as people, we all have things and challenges that we go through. And you know, but at the end of the day, some people just aren't good people. You know, and sometimes it's too difficult to do the right thing. It's easier to do the wrong thing sometimes than to do the right things, especially if you don't have any consequences.
Mm-hmm. So to be conscious and black in America is to be enraged almost all the time. I used to say that was WB It's not. It's like not Langston Hughes. God damn it. It's it's it was James Baldwin. And if there's any white people listening to this, just fucking watch I Am Not Your Negro.
I've never
He
seen it.
and
I might check it out, but he seems like too much to me that he was groveling to white people. But I might check it out. But go ahead and
oh
explain
he
what.
was he was not at all. He
Okay,
was
well,
not
I
at
was
all.
prejudging something I didn't never see, so I try not to do that.
Yeah, yeah, I know you do. But watch that before the next time we talk. But I Am Not Your Negro. Please, you know, as long as we got this momentum going with this George Floyd thing, please, 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 like, let's not make this the last time. Let's not make this like a fluke, because this happened 4 years ago, and it happened every fucking day in the last 4 years, but no one wanted to protest. But thank God, like, I'm going to thank God that that motherfucker kneeled on his fucking neck. Please, white people, just fucking up. Get up and protest. Like, get up and do something different. Listen to your black friends. Read some books,
But
written by
what's
some
in it for
black
them?
people.
What's in it for white people if they do all that?
Education, and you know what's good about education? It kills ignorance. It kills it.
Well, one thing I've seen like on I think it was Prime Video, they doing like black black documentaries and stuff
Free
like that.
black movies, yeah, yeah, yeah. I watch them
It's
all,
like
man.
throwing it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
overkill though. It's like it's throwing this stuff in white people's faces. It gotta be annoying for some white people, and they gotta. What are you? Are you hearing anything like that? Because I'm looking like, man, they really trying to push this agenda.
So I'm not ashamed because I had a really successful life until now, and I'm gonna have a successful life until after this. But my mom has like a really Afrocentric black friend that she's had for 50 years. And, this lady still eats lunch with this girl, with my mom, every fucking month. Every fucking month. And I'm like, Mom, let me eat lunch with you. Let me eat lunch with you. Because my mom goes up there, and this lady's so patient. And she goes, like when Kaepernick did his thing, this lady was like, well, Susan, you just don't understand because you're not black. She goes, well, I don't agree. And I'm like, oh my God, Mom. And like, they won't listen to me. Maybe they'll listen to something else, but keep this momentum going, man. White people, keep this momentum going. Yeah, I'm like, don't just talk, walk.
Remember when
Yeah,
I said we did the one show about black people don't believe black people? They'll question it, but if a white person tells them that the same thing, they'll believe it.
yes, I
But the
remember
thing,
that.
and I noticed the same thing applies to white people. So if a black person say it, they might not believe it. But if a white person says it, then the white person is more likely to believe it because of
Well,
this
I'll tell
race.
you this, man. I'll tell you this is, I don't care. Like, this is gonna be something for the rest of my life. I don't care if I'm with a white girl. I don't care. It is what it is. But I totally believe in racial equality, and I will fight for it for the rest of my life, however I got to do. Now, whether that's a podcast, whether that's protesting, whatever, I believe it. And I believe in it for Chinese people, Puerto Rican people, whatever. Because here's my thing, is like, Nas, greatest rapper of all time, by the way. Can we talk about that? Greatest rapper of all time is Nas. But Nas
You ain't
said,
never listened to a Nas album or song in your life, man.
bro, I bought Illmatic. I could
It's a
recite
damn lie.
Illmatic. Yeah, man, fuck you.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead and say what you're gonna say. Say what you're gonna say. Yeah, Illmatic, greatest album of all time. Yada yada yada.
No, you really hurt my feelings right now. Are you
Yeah, it was
serious?
a joke, man. Just
Are you
Illmatic was
serious?
not the greatest album of all time, though. I can tell you that. That's not even like
According to
top
source, it
10.
was. According to source, it was. But here's my whole point:
The source
is
was
like,
biased.
man, and Eminem's the greatest, battle rapper
Right,
of all
right,
time.
right. Sure.
Well, what do you think? Hold on, man. We don't have to put the
What are you talking
Illmatic
about?
is the greatest rap. Illmatic is the greatest record of all time in rap.
I don't know. To be fair, I've never listened to the whole Illmatic album. I've only heard a couple of songs and they were decent. But
Yeah,
you been
but
drinking, man?
who, no, who's your favorite rapper?
Tupac, hands down.
I can't even listen to him anymore.
I know you can't. I know
I
he
can't,
was talking
man.
about fighting against people like you, man.
No, because
That's why.
I just
That's
got
why.
burnt out. I just got
Right.
burnt out on Tupac.
right. Right.
I'll tell you what. Listen to One Love and watch Belly.
I think he's a great rapper, but when I
No,
think
he's
about
top five, man. He's not black. You're
okay,
not even
yeah,
black.
Joe
You
Biden,
can't put him in top five.
Joe Biden.
Yeah, it was a great conversation, man. Like, honestly, like, man, I don't know. I don't know why people feel this way, man. The one thing I was gonna say is like, I don't care if you're Chinese, black, whatever. Man, I want everybody on the same pedestal. I told you this yesterday, but I want everybody on the same pedestal. And like Nas said, to challenge the best or to be the best, you got to challenge the best. Put everybody up, put them equal. And the one thing about America is we definitely made a strong, strong group of people by holding them down for so long, and they're ready, and they're ready. And I think white people are scared of that, man. Honestly.
I think I think so too. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I think this the whole reason that we even continue this. Like, why are we continuing this as humans? The world is so small. We need to be trying to expand civilization and build new and better things. And we're up here fighting with people. Like I said, like the one lady said, some people would rather fail than to succeed with you, and that's what we have. You can't convince some people. There's some people that just don't want to see other Americans succeed. Some Americans don't want to
I
see other
agree.
Americans
I
succeed.
agree. No, and honestly, like black people were equal, and everybody, not just black people, just every non-white person was equal. It probably would have been better,
It
But
would have
my
been.
life is easy.
It would have been
My
better
life is easy. My life was easy as fuck. You know.
because yeah, what you have though is
And
you have a group of people, a small group of people, Europeans that have a control of some of the resources, a lot of the resources, and what they do is steadily they seem to take away rights from everybody, no matter what. And then one day, it's possible that white people wake up and say, "What just happened?" You know,
right. And I'm gonna leave it with this: to be the best, you got to challenge the best. Let everybody come up, be on the same level. See what happens.
yeah, but what if they lose? That's the whole thing. They're not feeling confident in their chances. That's why they continue the racism. That's the whole thing.
Me personally, like, well, I'm self-aware. I'm self-aware. Like, I know, like, I had all the advantages in the world, man. And you have black people like my neighbor, like he came from nothing, and he is my fucking parents' house. He's a great dude, great dude, great dude. But and still he gets. I remember one time. This really fucking kills me. Here's one time, so he's a sales manager at a car place, right? At a dealership. So lady comes in, oh, she fucking loves me, blah blah blah. I'm about to sell her a car. One of the things is like if you think she's gonna leave, you go get the manager. So she shook my hand like 10 times. I mean, this is literally last year. This is literally 2019. So he comes out. And he goes, hey, I'm yada yada. And she goes, oh, I don't shake hands. And she goes, she doesn't shake hands. He was all cool about it. He was all right. He grew up in Birmingham. So he was like, nah, that's cool. He was like, well, whatever. Here's my card, if you need anything. I still sold her. But I told him later. And he didn't ask, but I told him later. I was like, hey, man, she shook my hand like 5 times. And he goes, bro, ain't nothing new. Ain't nothing new. And he just walked away. I'm like, God damn it. I was like, because I wanted to punch her in the face.
Well, let
Like,
me ask you
yeah.
this then, since you mentioned that. No, do white people feel guilty, even if it's a racist white person? Do they feel guilty about being called out for racism, or is it just like, yeah, I'm racist,
Me?
who cares? No, I'm just saying, period. From what you've seen, just in your opinion, are white people ashamed to be racist or called racist, even if they are racist?
No, they'll defend it all day. They'll defend it all day. Like, what happens is kind of like what's going on with George Floyd. Like, are you on Facebook?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of people on Facebook right now. So, this is the first time I've seen so many white people coming out and talking about and being so upset and distraught.
Do you think it's real?
You know, I'd say 50-50. You
Okay.
know, I can tell the ones that are real. I can tell the ones that are real
That's what I
because
see
like
in the
they
black
keep talking
community.
about it.
So I see a lot of people out
Yeah,
here in the black community too. A lot of clout chasing. A lot of people are just clout chasing right now.
right.
Because I know some of these
No,
people don't support black
I
people at
really hope
all.
it makes a difference. I really hope it makes a difference.
I think it will. I think because you can't do something like that. Like I even saw something on the news where you got conservatives talking about he needs to go to jail. Um, it's just too many people from too many different sides saying that this guy needs to go to jail because you can't do that on camera in front of everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Th-
It was too much.
So, so that's the next topic. Is you know, can black people do it on themselves, or do they need, part of the majority? Do they need white allies? And I believe they do need white allies. And I think that's just the nature of the game.